23 soldiers stood at attention on the training field. One civilian observer sat quietly on a wooden bench. The commander didn't know that observer was Bruce Lee. In the next 12 minutes, everything the commander believed about combat would be challenged. This is the true story of what happened at Fort Ord, California on April 15, 1972. This is the story that changed military hand-to-hand combat training forever. Fort Ord, California, Monterey Peninsula, April 15, 1972. Saturday morning, 9:00 a.m. The sun is already warming the training field. 23 soldiers from the 7th Infantry Division stand in formation, combat fatigues, boots polished, ready for hand-to-hand combat training. The morning air is crisp. The smell of fresh cut grass mixes with gun oil and sweat. This is a working military base. Training never stops. Commander Robert, the Hammer, Harrison stands before them. 6'3", 240 pounds, 17 years of military service, 3 combat tours, Korea, Vietnam twice. Purple Heart, Bronze Star, Silver Star. He's seen real combat, he knows what works. At least he thinks he does. Commander Harrison specializes in military hand-to-hand combat. He's trained thousands of soldiers. His methods are proven, simple, direct, effective. No fancy moves, no movie techniques. Just brutal, practical combat. Break the enemy fast. That's his philosophy. On the bench 30 feet away sits a small Asian man. Simple gray t-shirt, black pants, Nike Cortez sneakers. He weighs maybe 140 pounds, 5'7" at most. He's been sitting there for 20 minutes, quiet, observing, taking mental notes. His posture is relaxed but alert, eyes tracking every movement on the field. Commander Harrison noticed him earlier, assumed he was waiting for someone. Didn't ask, didn't care. This is military training. Civilians aren't his concern. Security cleared him. Colonel Peters vouched for him. That's enough. Harrison addresses his soldiers. Gentlemen, today we're covering throat strikes and knee destructions. In combat, you don't have time for multiple techniques. You have one chance. You make it count. These techniques have worked in Korea. They've worked in Vietnam. They'll work wherever you're deployed. The soldiers nod. Harrison's reputation precedes him. He doesn't teach sport fighting. He teaches killing, survival, coming home alive. The throat strike is your primary tool against a frontal assault. When an enemy attacks, you intercept and destroy simultaneously. No defense, then offense. That's too slow. You defend and attack in the same movement. He demonstrates on the air. His hand shoots out, fingers extended, rigid, aimed at an imaginary throat. Impact here at the trachea. Even moderate force causes the throat to swell. Enemy can't breathe, can't fight. Fight's over in 3 seconds. The soldiers watch carefully. Some have seen combat. Most haven't. All know what they learn here could save their lives. Harrison continues. I need a volunteer. 23 hands stay down. Nobody volunteers with the hammer. It means being thrown, choked, or struck for demonstration. Even with control, it's uncomfortable. Painful, educational, but painful. Harrison smiles. He expected this. No volunteers. Then I'll choose. His eyes scan the formation, landing on Private Martinez, 200 pounds, former high school wrestler. Good choice. But then Harrison's eyes drift to the bench, to the small Asian man watching. An idea forms. A teaching moment. He's been seeing too many soldiers interested in kung fu movies lately. That Chinese actor, Bruce Lee, the one who does the high kicks, it's making his soldiers think martial arts can work in real combat. Making them think size doesn't matter. Harrison knows better. He's seen combat. Real combat isn't choreographed. Size and strength matter. Always. Here's a chance to prove a point. You. Harrison points at the small man. Come here. Bruce looks up, slightly surprised. He wasn't expecting to participate. He was invited to observe by Colonel Peters, an old student from his Oakland school. The colonel wanted Bruce's opinion on the training program. Bruce stands, walks toward the formation. His movement is casual but economical. No wasted motion. The soldiers watch, some confused. Why is the commander calling a civilian? Private Martinez leans toward Private Johnson, whispers. That guy looks familiar. Yeah, like that actor from the Green Hornet. The kung fu guy. Johnson squints, studies Bruce as he approaches. Maybe. Hard to tell. Bruce reaches the formation, stands before Commander Harrison. The size difference is obvious. Harrison towers over him, outweighs him by 100 pounds. What's your name? Harrison asks. His tone is professional, not hostile. Bruce. Bruce what? Bruce Lee. The name means nothing to Harrison. He doesn't watch movies, doesn't follow popular culture. His world is training, combat, and keeping soldiers alive. You know any martial arts, Bruce? Some? Bruce answers. His voice is calm, respectful. He's not here to cause problems. He understands protocol, hierarchy. Good, I'm gonna demonstrate why traditional military combat beats fancy martial arts. No offense, just a teaching moment for my men. They've been watching too many movies lately. Bruce understands what's happening. The commander has made assumptions. Small Asian civilian equals martial arts enthusiast. Probably learned from movies or a strip mall dojo. This won't be the first time someone has underestimated him. He's used to it. If you're not comfortable, you can decline, Harrison offers. He's not trying to hurt the guy, just prove a point. I'm comfortable, Bruce says simply. The 23 soldiers adjust their formation, creating a circle. This just got more interesting. Private Martinez whispers again, I'm telling you, no way. Johnson whispers back. What would he be doing here? Harrison positions Bruce at the center where all 23 soldiers can see clearly. This is a teaching moment. Maximum visibility. Gentlemen, pay attention. I'm going to demonstrate a throat strike against an opponent who knows martial arts. You'll see that our methods work against any style because we focus on what matters. Speed, power, directness. He turns to Bruce. I'm going to show the technique slow first, then half speed, then full speed if you're comfortable. At any point tap out if you need to stop. Understood. Understood, Bruce confirms. Harrison shows the technique to his soldiers. Open hand, fingers extended, strike to the throat. Against an opponent's attack you intercept and counter simultaneously. Watch, when he punches, I redirect with my left and strike with my right, like this. Harrison throws a slow practice punch toward Bruce. Maybe 10% speed. Demonstrates the throat strike defense. His left hand brushes aside the imaginary punch. His right hand shoots forward, stops an inch from Bruce's throat. Perfect control, textbook technique. See, simple, effective, no wasted movement. This is what you need in combat. Not spinning kicks, not fancy stances, just direct, proven techniques. Now let's do it at half speed. Bruce nods. Ready, Harrison throws the punch again. Half speed, maybe 40% power, enough to be realistic. Bruce doesn't use Harrison's defensive technique. Instead, his hand rises, smooth, economical, intercepts Harrison's arm at the wrist, redirects it 6 inches offline. Just 6 inches, but enough. Simultaneously, Bruce's other hand shoots forward, stops 1 inch from Harrison's throat. The position mirrors Harrison's demonstration, but faster, more efficient, less movement, better structure. The soldiers see it. Harrison feels it. Feels how little effort Bruce used, how perfect the positioning is. If this were real combat, Bruce's hand would be crushing his throat. There's a moment of silence. The morning breeze rustles through the trees. A bird calls. Nobody moves. Harrison recovers quickly. His pride is stung, but his professionalism remains intact. Good reflexes, but you used 2 hands. I use 1. More efficient. May I show you something? Bruce asks. His tone is polite, respectful, not challenging, just offering. Harrison hesitates. This isn't how demonstrations work. He's the instructor. But the soldiers are watching, waiting. He can't back down. Sure. Show me. Bruce asks Harrison to throw the same punch. Real speed this time. Full commitment. Harrison obliges. He's fast for a big man. Years of training, combat experience. His punch shoots out full speed, full power. Aimed at Bruce's face. Bruce's hand rises. Not to block, to intercept. His fingers touch Harrison's wrist. Just touch, feather light. But Harrison's punch stops completely. Like hitting a brick wall. Harrison tries to continue, pushes forward. Nothing. His arm won't move. He's got 100 pounds on this guy, but his arm is frozen. Bruce's fingers have found a pressure point, a nerve cluster at the wrist. With minimal contact, he's controlling Harrison's entire arm, controlling his structure, his balance, his ability to generate power. Then Bruce's other hand moves. His palm presses against Harrison's solar plexus. No impact, just pressure, specific pressure. Harrison feels his breath catch, not from pain, from the precise point Bruce is pressing. The vagus nerve, the diaphragm connection. If Bruce wanted to strike that spot with force, Harrison would be on the ground, unable to breathe, possibly unconscious. But Bruce isn't striking, he's teaching. Demonstrating control, precision. Bruce releases, steps back, gives Harrison space, respect. In Wing Chun, we call this centerline theory. Minimum force, maximum effect. We don't meet force with force. We redirect force and control structure. The soldiers are completely silent. They just watched a man half Harrison's size completely control their commander. Freeze his attack with fingertip pressure, threaten a knockout with palm pressure. No impact, no visible force. Just perfect understanding. Private Johnson whispers to Martinez, "Holy shit, that is Bruce Lee." Martinez just nods. Harrison's face is red. Not from exertion, from embarrassment. His ego is bruised. 17 years of military combat training, 3 combat tours, decorated soldier, and he just got handled by a civilian who weighs 140 pounds in front of his men. This can't stand. He's not angry at Bruce, he's angry at himself, at his assumptions. But he needs to save face. That's fine for demonstration, Harrison says. His voice is controlled. But in real combat, size and strength matter. When adrenaline is pumping, when you're tired, when the enemy is trying to kill you, you need power, you need aggression. Let me show you what happens when someone really commits. Harrison sets up again. This time he's proving a point. To Bruce, to his soldiers, to himself. He throws a combination jab, cross, low kick, military combatives, full speed, full power. Bruce moves, not away from the combination, into it. His body shifts 45 degrees, angle offline. The jab passes where his head was. The cross encounters his forearm, not a block, a redirect. The punch is guided down. The low kick hits nothing. Bruce has entered close range, Wing Chun range. His hands touch Harrison's uniform. Not pushing, not pulling, just contact. Then Harrison is moving backward, stumbling, off balance. He doesn't know how it happened. There was no visible force, no obvious technique, just that light contact, and his 240-pound frame is backpedaling. Harrison catches himself, plants his feet, resets. Breathing harder now, from confusion, from frustration. What just happened? The soldiers are leaning in. This stopped being a demonstration. This is something else. Something they've never seen. This is mastery. Real mastery. Harrison makes a decision. If he can't strike the guy, he'll wrestle him. Grappling is his specialty. You can't use pressure points in a double leg takedown. Size and strength will matter. Physics will matter. He shoots in. Double leg takedown. Proper technique. Head to the side. Level change. Penetration step. Hands behind the knees. Drive forward. He's done this 1,000 times. Bruce's hips move back just enough. 6 inches. Harrison's hands grasp air. His head finds empty space. Then Bruce's hands are on Harrison's head. Both hands, gentle contact, but controlling, redirecting. Harrison's momentum is turned, guided. He finds himself face down on the ground, on the grass, face in the dirt. He didn't fall. Didn't slip. He was placed there, gently but firmly, like a parent putting a child to bed. The 23 soldiers gasp as one. The hammer just got taken down. Commander Harrison, combat veteran, decorated soldier, expert in hand-to-hand combat, taken down by a guy who weighs 140 pounds, a civilian. And it looked easy. Harrison stands, brushes dirt from his uniform, breathing harder, more from frustration than exertion, from wounded pride. He's not hurt. Bruce didn't hurt him. Didn't need to, just demonstrated complete control, in striking, in interception, in grappling. Who are you really? Harrison asks. His voice is quieter now. The bravado is gone. I told you. Bruce Lee, I teach martial arts in Los Angeles. Colonel Peters invited me to observe your training. He was a student at my Oakland school. He wanted my feedback on your program. The name clicks. The Green Hornet, that TV show. Private Martinez was right. Harrison has heard the name, dismissed it as Hollywood nonsense. But this isn't nonsense. This is real. More real than anything he's seen. I apologize, Harrison says. His pride is hurt, but his integrity remains intact. A real warrior can admit when he's wrong. I made assumptions. I thought you were just another martial arts enthusiast. I was wrong. No apology needed, Bruce says. His voice is kind. You were teaching your men, trying to keep them safe. I respect that. Your techniques are solid, direct, effective. You just haven't seen other applications, other possibilities. Harrison pauses, swallows his pride. Would you show them what you showed me? Explain it. Teach them. Bruce looks at the 23 soldiers. They're watching him with different eyes now. Not as a civilian interruption, as someone who has something to teach. Something valuable. Something that could save their lives. If you'd like, Bruce says. For the next 45 minutes, Bruce Lee teaches. He doesn't criticize Harrison's methods, that would be disrespectful. Instead, he expands them. Shows how Wing Chun principles can enhance military combatives. Economy of motion, every movement serves a purpose. Centerline theory, control the centerline, control the fight. Simultaneous defense and attack, no wasted time. The soldiers watch, absorb, learn. Some take notes, pull out notebooks, write down concepts. Harrison watches too, learning, re-evaluating 17 years of assumptions, seeing his techniques through a new lens. Bruce demonstrates on volunteers. Private Johnson steps forward first. Bruce shows him how to use minimal force for maximum effect. Shows him that you don't need Harrison's size to execute Harrison's techniques. You need proper structure, proper understanding, proper timing. He calls up Private Martinez, shows him how Wing Chun principles apply to grappling, how you can control a larger opponent without matching their strength, how sensitivity matters more than power. Bruce explains Jeet Kune Do, his personal philosophy, using no way as way, having no limitation as limitation, taking what works from every system, discarding what doesn't. Your commander teaches you to throat strike, Bruce says. Good technique, direct, effective, but ask yourself, is it the only option? What if the opponent tucks his chin? What if he's wearing protective gear? What if he's taller? Do you have a backup, or are you locked into one technique? The soldiers nod. In combat you need options. Adaptability. Learn the principle behind the technique. Bruce continues. The throat strike works because it attacks a vulnerable target. It disrupts breathing. That's the principle. What other targets create the same effect? Eyes, solar plexus, floating ribs. If you understand the principle, you have 10 techniques instead of one. You can adapt to any situation. He demonstrates on Harrison, with permission, with respect, shows 3 different ways to achieve the same result, each from a different angle, different range, different opponent position. Harrison is experiencing genuine humility. He's been teaching combat for 17 years. His methods work, but he's been teaching from a limited perspective. Bruce is showing him there's more. At the end of the session, the soldiers are transformed, not in physical abilities, that takes months, but in understanding, in perspective. Harrison extends his hand to Bruce, a military commander shaking hands with a civilian, an acknowledgement of respect. Thank you, Harrison says. His voice is sincere. My soldiers and I learned something today. Something important. Bruce shakes his hand. You have excellent fundamentals, strong techniques. I just showed you different applications. Your foundation is what made understanding possible. Would you be willing to come back? Harrison asks. Teach us more. Work with us on developing these principles. If the military approves, I'd be honored. I'll make sure they approve, Harrison promises. The 23 soldiers stand at attention. As Bruce walks back to the bench, they do something unusual, something not in military protocol. They applaud. For a civilian, for someone who just taught them more in 45 minutes than they've learned in months. The hammer stands beside them, applauding too. No embarrassment, just respect. Colonel Peters approaches Bruce as he's leaving. I heard what happened, Peters says, smiling proud. The whole base is talking about it. I didn't mean to embarrass Commander Harrison, Bruce says. You didn't embarrass him. Peters assures him. You taught him. There's a difference. He's already requested a formal training program. Wants you to consult on updating the hand-to-hand curriculum for the entire division. Bruce stops. The entire division, 7,000 soldiers, Peters confirms. Harrison wants to integrate your principles into basic training. Bruce considers this, teaching military personnel, helping soldiers survive, saving lives. I'll need to think about it, discuss it with my students, but yes, I'm interested. 3 months later, July 1972, Bruce Lee returned to Fort Ord, not as an observer, as an official consultant, civilian special combat advisor, a title created specifically for him. He spent 2 weeks with Commander Harrison and his senior instructors, redesigning the 7th Infantry Division's hand-to-hand combat program. They studied every technique, every drill. Bruce didn't eliminate Harrison's methods, he enhanced them. Added efficiency, added adaptability, added principles that made techniques work for soldiers of different sizes, different strengths. Harrison became one of Bruce's most dedicated students. He trained in Jeet Kune Do 3 times a week, drove to Los Angeles, spent hours in Bruce's school learning, evolving. He incorporated Wing Chun sensitivity drills into military training, taught his soldiers Chi Sao, learning to feel an opponent's intention, to respond instantly. He added centerline theory to combat strategy, taught soldiers to control position. He integrated Bruce's philosophy of adaptability, of being like water. The new program was revolutionary. Soldiers learned faster, retained more, performed better. After Bruce died in July 1973, Harrison was devastated. He'd lost a teacher, a friend, a man who changed his understanding of combat and life. But he continued the work, continued teaching Bruce's principles, integrating them into military training, training thousands more soldiers, saving lives. Harrison never forgot April 15, 1972, the day he chose the wrong man, the day his assumptions met reality, the day he learned humility. That Saturday morning became legendary at Fort Ord. The story was told to every new class. The day the hammer got taught a lesson. The 23 soldiers who witnessed that morning told the story for years, at reunions, at training sessions, to their students. Some are still alive today, in their 70s, still training, still teaching. And they all start their classes the same way, with the story of the day the hammer met Bruce Lee. Commander Robert Harrison retired in 1985 after 30 years of service. Countless soldiers trained. He opened a martial arts school in Monterey, 5 minutes from Fort Ord. He teaches military combatives, the system he developed with Bruce and Jeet Kune Do, pure, the way Bruce taught him. Above his desk hangs a photograph from that day in April. Bruce Lee standing among 23 soldiers, the hammer beside him, both smiling. On the back, Harrison wrote, April 15, 1972, the day I learned that real strength doesn't require size. Real technique doesn't require complexity, and real mastery doesn't require recognition. It simply is. Thank you, Bruce. You changed my life. You saved lives by teaching me. The photo has faded, but the memory remains clear. The lesson eternal. Fort Ord, California, April 15, 1972. 23 soldiers, 1 commander, 1 civilian observer. 12 minutes that changed military combat training forever. The day a decorated war veteran learned that the most dangerous opponents are the ones you underestimate. The day military pride met martial arts humility. The day the hammer discovered that true strength isn't about what you can break, it's about what you can build. And sometimes, the greatest teachers come disguised as the people you least expect to learn from. Commander Harrison chose the wrong man for his demonstration that day. But in doing so, he made the right choice for the rest of his life.